In part 4, I'm going to walk you through the writing process for reading response 4. So reading response 4 is going to be off of clothes that you read in chapter 12 of our textbook. And basically, the purpose of this assignment is almost to have you test run and do a mini responding to literature essay before you write your main one on the story that you picked, okay? So what you need to do first, and this is where those first 2 questions I had you answer on the text will come in handy, but I want you to answer these questions in your response. What effect did this story have on you? And what did the story make you think about or question? Okay, so even those thesis sentences that we just practiced for the taking a stand essay, you can apply one of those 2 theses for this paper. Okay, now in your paper, you do need to provide textual support, at least 1 quote in this assignment, and you do need to have a narrow kind of focus, which answering these 2 questions will help you. So this essay is due this Sunday. All right, now I'm just going to jump into the writing process and I'm going to go straight through it. If you need to, you can pause the video at various points to complete those steps, or you can just watch through to the end. So for step 1, the first thing you need to do is ask those 2 questions that I gave you. What effect did this story have on you? What did the story make you think about or question? You could even add to it, what idea, moral, or lesson or theme do you think the author wanted you to consider in the story close? And then you can use kind of this template if you want to help you write this essay. After reading Deva Karuni's story, I think or feel or have come to realize that blank. So that is an excellent starting place for this assignment. So you may want to pause the video right now, complete that, and then move on. So for sources, the only thing you need to use is the short story itself, okay? So glance back through the story and find places to use as examples to show the reader why this story has had this effect on you, okay? You should be able to find at least 2 places, if not, hopefully more. Now, 1 tip, write your short summary of the story, okay? And when you're doing that, focus on the parts of the story that are the most important for the reader to know, to understand what you took away from the essay. So don't just fill it up with every single little element of the plot that is mentioned or every single character. That's not going to help the reader. Just focus on those areas that are necessary for the reader to understand why you had the reaction to the story that you did. All right, so for planning, this would be what your essay should look like. Now, there's 2 options. Every single literature essay should just have like a real brief summary of the story, not very long. Sometimes it's only even a couple, 2 or 3 sentences. And you have 2 options for where you can put that summary. You can either put it in the intro or in the body, okay? Now, again, this essay is not a summary of the story, but you do need to just put a little one in your paper. So if you do that in the introduction, you would just introduce the article and author, give a 2 to 3 sentences, so like summary of clothes, and then provide your thesis statement. And then you can jump right in and say the first example of the story, how it affected you, the second, third, if there is one, and then your conclusion. Now, if you want to provide that little summary in the body of your paper, you would still introduce the author and the article and provide your thesis in the introduction. And then that first body paragraph right here would be a very short summary of clothes. And then you would jump into your first example of how the story affected you and your second, and go to your conclusion. Okay, so again, this essay is not a summary of the whole story, but you're just providing a short summary to give the reader some context for why you had this response to the paper or to the story. All right, draft your paper, and then for revising and editing, here's some questions to keep in mind. Did you incorporate at least 1 quote from close into your essay and cite it properly? Did you include your short citation of no more than 1 paragraph at max? Is each point in your paper supported by an example from the story? Did you quote a specific area? Do you use MLA formatting? Is your essay free of punctuation and grammatical errors that we've been learning so far in the class? Oh, and I might add this. Have you used transitions? Okay, so transitions in and out of your quotes and between your examples. Okay, that's all I have to say for these videos for this week. I'm looking forward to your responses on clothes and what you thought of this story, and I'll also be giving you specific feedback that will really help you with your last essay in the class. Again, if you have any questions about anything, please reach out to me by my email or text, which you can find in the worksheet or on our MU course page.